So, I had to completely scrap my GTA 6 vid to make way for this one because I just want to get this out in the open real quick. There is a history of this game and the studio making it causing mass disappointment time and time again. But when we were willing to let Fntastic do their job, they proved us that they couldn't get it done right. So without further ado, put your credit cards back in your wallet and submit the refund tickets as we talk about the day before. If you enjoyed what you see today, be sure to sub to the channel. You know, let's just get right into it. The Day Before has been one of the most controversial and most talked about indie games in recent years because of how damn chaotic the development has been for this game. In fact, I don't think people would even know what this game was if people didn't constantly say it was fake or it didn't exist to begin with, because that's how I first heard about it. Now, before we continue, I would be a bad creator if I didn't apologize to y'all. And no, I didn't have any Discord conversations leak on Twitter, okay? My most recent Day Before video proclaimed that they proved us wrong by showing us that there was a game, and while it's true in that regard, I portrayed the sort of benefit of the doubt for them when I obviously shouldn't have. And I hope that you can forgive me for that. I'm also going to be including some clips here and there while giving proper credit to the creators that had to suffer through this shit. Anyways, let's get into it. The amount of disappointment, the amount of disgust, the amount of shock and awe that I feel for even wanting to play this game is goddamn abysmal. I even bought the game on Steam the second it came up, right? But before I dove in, I told myself, hey, watch some streams first just in case you change your mind. So I did. I watched a couple of streams here and there from a couple of buddies of mine and then refunded that shit before I even clocked a single minute in the game. Don't get me wrong, I not only had low expectations, but I also had the optimism that there could be something here, right? Fntastic sure as hell talked the talk, but it was time for them to show us that they could walk the walk. But no, they pretty much put their peg right above dead matter and are touting it as something genre defining. The Day Before and genre defining should never be in the same goddamn thought process as each other. And I just want to make it clear that I fully expected there to be bugs on release as well as server issues. Hell, every game has some sort of issue on release now. But when you start seeing shit like this,
maybe you're right. The server's literally top.
like this, or even fucking this. I'm going to call into question what the hell they've been working on for all these years. Keep in mind, the game was in development since what, 2019? What were y'all doing besides being silent, getting sued, and playing victim when people called your entire company into question? I mean, there's already shit like money duping glitches and even a car duping glitch that have already been discovered. I don't really know how those glitches work, so I won't be covering them in this video, but honestly, I think you owe it to yourself to go find out at this point. It's like the only rewarding thing you're going to get out of this whole entire game. I also want to know where the hell the volunteers were at in all this as well. Right? We've been hearing that the volunteers have playtested the game and they say that it's ready to go. Did the volunteers who playtested this pile of rabbit shit lie to y'all? Did y'all not listen to them? Like, what happened? For a short period of time, you couldn't even get into the Discord or type in the general chat because they locked it down under the grounds of overwhelming toxicity. Now, I understand that there's going to be at least one bad egg out of every dozen, but are you really surprised, Fntastic? You cannot sit there and convince us that you are not expecting people to tear your ass apart for releasing something like this to the public. You're also hiding behind that early access tag because you decided to change the entire foundation of your game last second and push it out the door knowing good goddamn and well it was nowhere ready. Speaking of changing the foundation, if I remember correctly, this was touted as a zombie survival game or even an MMO, right? But that's not the case anymore. They actually switched it to more of an extraction royale while still maintaining some aspects of the zombie survival and MMO style game. Now let's step back a little bit and touch on the early access stuff because what they said in their Q&A is just hilariously bad. First, why early access? The game is in early access because this is our huge first game at Fntastic and there may be unforeseen circumstances. Yeah, and that unforeseen circumstance is that people continue to support this game after what happened yesterday. Approximately how long will this game be in early access? We are hoping to be in early access for around 6 to 8 months. In what world are you going into full release in less than a year? I'm thinking maybe 6 to 8 years given y'all's track record, but not months. What is the current state of the early access version? The game is playable in multiplayer, allowing players to fully immerse themselves in a post-apocalyptic open-world MMO survival set in the present day on the US East Coast following a deadly pandemic. You're fucking with us, right? The keyword is playable. If you consider closing out the menu that says your internet is bad even though it's the server suffocating themselves, then sure, it's playable. A playable menu simulator, but still playable. And even when you get into the game, all there is to do is just walk around. There's barely any zombies, barely any players. And again, they use the word MMO here, and while it may have some MMO elements, the game is far from it. How are you planning on involving the community in your development process? We'll be taking feedback and suggestions from both the community here on Steam and across all social media. Oh, in that case, here's some feedback for you. Pull your game off Steam, issue refunds, and don't bother coming back until you've got a completed product that actually works. I mean, for Christ's sake, y'all premiered this shit in Times Square as if it was something monumental. You know, I'm done talking about this. All right, let's just get into my final thoughts. For my final thoughts, do not buy this goddamn game. I don't care what it takes for you to not give this company a dime. Do not do it. Everything from the zombie spawns, the combat, the lack of certain things like vaulting and melee attacks, the game-breaking issues, this makes me feel like the day before was such a last-minute launch. Honestly, it feels like everything we've been shown was nothing more than a lie. I don't know if I ever mentioned this in a video, but when discussing this with my friends, I called it. I said that these people are so tired of the bullshit and the deception from this company, they're going to be micro-analyzed, and there's going to be no room for fuck-ups with Fntastic. And guess what? I was right. Now, to be fair, as of writing the script, they did put out a hotfix, but it was pretty much, you don't get to see full servers, and we fixed the door at the beginning of the game. Wow. Awesome, guys. Thank you. That was such an important thing we needed. If there's anything positive I can say about this game, I do like the environment, right? I've always loved environments similar to the Division 2, where it's just one giant-ass city that you can explore and get lost in while playing the game. And while there are tons of total cars and only certain buildings you can get into, the game would have been more aesthetically pleasing with everything included. The only way I'm willing to give this game a chance is if they support it to a playable state and there's something worth coming back for. Until then, it's still fuck the day before and fuck Fntastic for putting this bullshit out. Y'all should be fucking ashamed of yourselves, and while I don't condone harassment, every little bit of ridicule that's coming your way is deserved. Now I turn the mic to you. Let me know down below what you think about the day before. I typically try not to cover games that I haven't played, but given the history that I've had with this fucking title, I feel like I needed to make this video. And while you're down there, go ahead and smash that like button and refund that sub button to all so YouTube can show you my content free of charge. This is Sir Blackout signing off to avoid this game at all cost, and you should too. Later.